Howdy, 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 my name is Nachi Sasuke, and welcome back to SCP Sidestep. Now, before we start, I just want to say, this episode is going to be a little bit more serious than usual, because as I'm sure some of you may know, the SCP website is going through some stuff. But I didn't really know how to talk about it, because I barely kept up with it, and I don't have as much of an attachment to the website as you might think I do, considering I'm trying to read the whole dang thing. So, rather than watching the most recent Lord Bung video, and also probably intending to watch other animations and then not, what we're going to do today, first we're going to watch what Markiplier had to say about it, because I haven't watched that yet, but I'm going to play it in this video and then also leave a link to it so we can all at once find out what's going on. And then we're going to look over SCP-1 now that I know where I'm actually supposed to start at for the new ones. So, sorry about the big blinding white screen.
I have been playing SCP games for pretty much my entire channel's history. This video is not about those games, because the games are not the origination of those stories. Those stories originate from a website called scp-wiki.net, and that website, which is a creative writing project about these SCP creatures. That website is in trouble. To summarize, and I'll get into detail later, but to summarize, a man by the name of Andrei Duksin, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, is a Russian man who filed a trademark for SCP as a whole with the Eurasian Custom Union. And as far as I know, they approved his trademark, which is fraudulent because there's no way that this person had anything to do with the writing project or the collaborative effort of all the SCPs throughout its entire history, which originates all the way back in 2008, maybe even earlier than that. That's what I remember. So why is this a problem? Well, to understand why it's a problem is to understand a little bit more about the copyright status of what the SCP Foundation and the SCP Wiki is. I'm not a lawyer. What I do know is what is listed on the website. And what is listed on the website is what SCP Wiki falls under, which is Creative Commons. And Creative Commons is something that allows you to use the work so long as it's credited back to the original owner. However, anything created based on the SCP Foundation as a whole has to also be registered under Creative Commons. This means your derived work must be released under the CC BY SA so that other people can use the same license. It is not enough to simply attribute the SCP Foundation. This person is trying to monetize every single piece of property listed on the SCP Wiki in Russia. And what that means, by extension, if he wins that fight and gets the trademark, he can also make an argument to get all the other languages versions of the SCP Foundation. And then suddenly, everything that the hundreds of authors have come up with for SCP Wiki, every creature, every entity, is suddenly all owned by Andrei Duksin just for filing a trademark. Now, I'm making a summary of these things. You can read more detail about this, but the bottom line is they need help. And specifically, they need help because legal battles cost money, unfortunately. If you love the SCP Foundation, if you love the SCP games, Containment Breach, the Unity remake, the various other remakes, please consider making a donation to help fight this fight. I'm going to be making a donation right now. A lot of you guys have probably found my channel through the SCP videos. You know, I owe a lot to the SCP Wiki as a whole, and also it's just great stuff. If you've never had a chance to read this stuff, I highly recommend it. In fact, I am going to put a link in the description to the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is a really interesting thing done for the SCP Foundation that I'm going to showcase. But let me get this donation done real quick. Okay, so I have just made a $5,000 donation to this campaign. I think that this is just outrageous what this person is trying to do. There's so much potential in stuff like this, but it's squandered because people are trying to be opportunistic and are trying to, like, claw at things. So I'll provide a link to this GoFundMe in the description below. There hasn't been an update to the fight just yet, but these things take a lot of time, and we can only hope that they win, because otherwise it's going to cause a lot of problems. Anyway, in better news, there is something called the SCP Pixel Art Collab. If you've never read the website of the SCP Foundation, scp-wiki.net, there are hundreds upon hundreds of anomalous creatures, objects, entities, world-destroying things, all of them are fun to read, and they are conveniently made into this pixel art collab. And what this is a compilation of the pixel art from the SCP Pixel Art Collab and their associated SCP articles. Not only a graphical representation of what these SCPs are, and a lot of the times the SCPs will have an image associated with them, but this also covers SCPs that don't always have an image with them, and it puts them in a very easy to navigate, very easy to read. You can pick apart what you want. We're all gonna die now. That's SCP-096, which is the shy guy, where if you see his face, he will come and kill you. So I am sorry, but maybe the pixel version isn't as bad. But what makes this so cool is it's a way to enhance what was already great storytelling. And so, you know, some SCPs are better than others, but there's a wide variety of the different SCPs that are available here that you can see pretty much everywhere. Yeah, that's a vibrator. I've read almost all of these now, and it's opened up the doors for me to look into SCPs that I never would have ordinarily read, because if you look at the wiki, it's not like a bad way to read, and you can definitely get to everything that you need to get to. Oh my god, look at all these SCPs. Every single one of these is an article that was written by a community member, expanded upon. You can click on absolutely any of these. This one's oh yeah, this one's the one about Dr. Bright. That's actually a pretty famous one. 923, a useful tool. Yeah, all of them. You know what? Actually, I wonder, are these actually all filled in top to bottom? Oh my god, they are. Holy shit. This is just how much content is on the wiki. Oh my god. Look at that. People can't stop writing. Oh yeah, all of these. And all of these are articles. Everything. Everything's an article. Everything. There are thousands. I thought it was hundreds. It's apparently thousands. Also, this one's a great one. SCP-3000 is, I really like it. Taboo. The fuck does that mean? Whoa, that's a highly rated one. I've never read this one. The fuck? Not the point. I'm gonna read that later. But what the Pixel Art Collab is, it just makes it easy to consume. And it's great. It's just super cool. And I just wanted to recognize the great things that do exist about, you know, the SCP Foundation. SCP rock. Description: it's a rock that makes you procrastinate. Addendum: probably memetic or something. I'll finish writing this up later. Like, God, I fucking love it. Yeah, so if you want to get into the SCP Foundation, I actually would recommend looking at the SCP Pixel Art Collab, because it makes it really easy, it makes it really accessible. I'll put a link to it in the description below, and just frankly, it's a good time. With that being said, that is the SCP Pixel Art Collab. And that is the problem that the SCP Foundation is currently going through. Creative Commons probably has pluses and minuses to it, because it probably makes it very hard for anything like a movie to be made about the SCP Foundation, although it would be really cool if there was, if it was done right and in the right hands. I think that could be a great thing to be made by someone that really loves the universe and understands the importance of it. You know, the games are all made by people that just love the stories. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It really makes every single thing that comes out of it a work of passion, like a passion project. It makes people actually care about how it's represented and how accurately it's represented. They don't need to dumb it down for like a broader audience, because like it's meant for those that can really appreciate it. And I think that's definitely something that you can't say about everything. So the SCP Foundation is something to be appreciated and protected. I know this is a different one. This is like a different cause that I normally make a video about, but I think it's important. Number one, it's important for people to understand how much writing is actually there for the SCP Foundation. I didn't know there was that many, and I've been reading like crazy last few weeks. But honestly, it's just, you know, it's too important to let it be compromised by someone who is trying to be opportunistic and make a trademark that he does not deserve. So, links are in the description. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you are a fan of the SCP stuff, then maybe help out if you can. Hopefully more SCP content is coming your way, because the SCP Unity game is waiting on a big update for 0.7, so who knows how that's going to be, but when it comes out, I will definitely play it. It's supposed to be a big overhaul of the game. And maybe Containment Breach will be updated someday. I don't know. It's still fun to play. So, thank you everybody so much. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!
Okay, so that was super informative for a lot of reasons. One, now we know what's going on with the SCP website. Two, I had never heard of that Pixel collab thing, so we're gonna go check that out, like, right now after I like the video. Also, obviously, subscribe to Markiplier. I know he's got, like, he's almost at 25 million, so obviously a lot of people already know about him, but it'd be kinda gross for me to just watch his video in my video and not say subscribe to him. I mean, like, you know, subscribe to me, blah, 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 but he's done a lot more than I have. So, let's go check out this thing he talked about. Let's see. It said ebook preface. This website is a compilation of the pixel art from the SCP Pixel Art collab and their associated articles. It is typeset using Fairfax by Creative Software. This ebook website was auto-generated from content on the wiki. Each chapter includes author information and link to the original. Statistics and some other information were gleaned from SCP PERDB, SCP Peeper. Unless otherwise stated, all content is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 license. Generated using SCP to EPUB on Wednesday, November the 13th, 2019. And then ebook download. So there's an ebook version, it just or a suboptimal PDF version. So, here are the proposals for number 1, and I'm pretty sure I've read all 4 of these, so let's check out this one. Gatekeeper. How many pictures are there? Photograph from the vantage point of Site 0. Note the 4 flaming wing appendages located. Yeah, we've read that one. And this one is Daybreak, which I think this is the one where the sunlight was turning people into amorphous blobs, but the amorphous blobs could still talk, and they were trying to get this one lady like, hey, you should join us. It's really great. Come join the blob. And then they probably died. Chief of Papers. I think this one was just all of the information about the website in the pack of paper, which is probably why it's Keter. And either I don't remember this one. Okay, yeah, this is the one. This is the Broken God. Right. So, what else we have here? This mother brain looking thing. Apartment. Zombies. Blue lady. The cigarettes. I don't remember the fork, but the pipes. The pipe one. That one had me messed up for a while. Ooh, man, the pipes. Let's see. Vermin. Knowledge. Love. I think love is the one where, like, whenever people would look at it, they would see someone they really, really cared about, and it would act like it was someone they really, really cared about, but it was really just a blob. Let's get a better look at that picture. What is love? Yeah, it's that one. Wait, go back. Oh, there's more pictures. Yeah. Here's the mask that does crazy things. I don't remember this one, but it looks kind of like somebody from one of the containment videos. The Lord Bung was, I just showed my friend episode 1 of that. The cursed number. The Doctor. Pending. Image pending. SCP-55. Keter class is, which one is this one? Oh, right. Right, there's no picture because the whole point is for there to not be a picture. Ah, I see what you did there. There's the shy guy who does the screech and then the kill. The Old Man. I do not like The Old Man. I eventually have to go reread The Old Man because they added things and changed the pictures, so it looks slightly more unnerving than it already was, and they definitely changed some stuff. So we're going to have to check that out. As a matter of fact, it might be in here right now. Maybe not. I mean, if they did this, if they did this on November 13th, the new stuff is probably here. But it also looks like something else is happening. So I think I am still going to have to go check out the real one. What's this other picture? Corrosion damage on the initial recovery cell. And Agent Blank after release. They've been missing for 2 hours. They remained alive for 1 hour after release. And there's nothing left of them. So, what else we got here? The Leviathan. The Star Child. I don't remember a lot of these. I totally remember Cup of Joe, and I know this is Mr. Peanut. The 3D glasses that show weird things. Let's check out the Cup of Joe. That's a nice cup. That's also really nice hands. Is there another picture? Or is that just those? Okay. Let's see. The frog tears. The floppies. Oh yeah, these are the floppy drives that just have the whole internet on them. Where there's an entire floppy drive that's just like nothing but porn. All of it. Coffee. I didn't really remember this one. YouTube's probably going to get mad at me because of the fact that I just like, hey, look, it's that. Because I like how this one is censored and this one is just like, hey, hello, that's that. My bad. If I have the technology to censor it, I don't know how to do it. So, whoops. Let's see, we got what appears to be whiskey. The toaster that makes everybody think they're a toaster. It's probably what that is. Yeah, I am a toaster. The Bone Hive. I remember a lot of these, and there's a lot of them that I don't. I'm just scrolling my way through Series 1 since I'm at the very beginning of Series 2. Lord Fish. Whistle. Voices. Interesting. I would have thought there'd be one of the impossible to kill lizard, but I guess that would have been too obvious. I remember this one. We're not gonna do that. I remember Red Pool. Cats. Right, isn't this the one where there was just a bunch of cats living somewhere and they were not acting like cats, like, at all? A cowbell. Yeah, like I said, I remember some of these, others I don't. Oh no, yeah, here he is, lizard. Hard to destroy reptile, that's what it was. Audio adaptations. There's... What? Or is this just people who have read the entry out loud? I wouldn't have really expected to be in here. I'm not that important. Let's see. So is it just doing like auto pixel versions of the ones that have pictures? And then also based off of the words making pictures? Or what? Referenced by... There's a joke one. Dr. Gerald's driving skills. Okay. And there's the monkey that sings, and then if you mess up the sing, it makes you do the die. Oh, the numbers are at the top. Okay. I was looking at the bottom wondering why there weren't numbers, but now I see the numbers are... Okay. Either I'm blind and stupid, or I just missed it. Is this the milk that makes people swap genders? Description... is not blah, blah, blah. Increases the lactation rate. Okay, this isn't the thing that switches genders, it just makes you lactate no matter what. And then if they don't actually milk themselves, they just sort of turn into cows. And these are the pills that can heal anything, but there's a limited amount of them. Okay, I'm gonna bookmark this for later. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for letting me know about that, Markiplier. Now let's check out this here Ouroboros. Part 1, the children. Part 2, the broken god, atonement. Part 4, the way it ends. Proposal. Let's see. Can I get to the next part? By order of the Overseer Council, the following file is level 5001 classified. Any attempts to access this file without that authorization will be logged and the personnel responsible terminated. If you can find me! Input level 5 primary security credentials. Command sends to the father, sends to the son. Authorization granted. Primary memetic kill agents disengaged. Good evening, 0513. Warning, parts of this file have been locked. Additional level 5 clearances required to unlock. Well, it's containment class Thaumiel, which I never remember what that one is because it almost never happens. It's active-stable. Item 001 is currently contained in San Marco, Mexico, beneath the previous site of the San Marcos de la Vida Eterna Church. Original containment procedures have proven sufficient to contain the item. The area of containment is currently designated a high-security military waste disposal site, and Mexican law disallows individuals from coming within 10 kilometers of the site. Automated closed-circuit surveillance drones are to maintain the perimeter around one's containment site and have been designed to kill on site. 05 Memorandum 001 Alpha. The containment of information regarding SCP-1, formerly Item 001, is to be considered a highest priority. I have allowed clearance in the database for the creation of a number of false objects in the slot. If anybody gets that far, that should be enough to satiate them. I pulled out some of the original EXs to hold the spot until we can find something better. Expunge everything you find, get rid of any leaks. Drown it all in as many kill agents as you feel is necessary. You have more than enough clearance to do so. 052. Object description. Item 1 is the group designation for 9 human beings ages 4 to 11 who gained anomalous properties as a result of Project 1 Twins of God. See Proposal 1 for more information. Due to the improper use of Item 1 resulting in the death of a high-ranking staff member, termination was necessitated. As a result, Item 1 was put into its current containment. All 9 instances are functionally brain dead, but continue to display signs of life despite the nature of their containment. Item 1 instances emit massive amounts of gamma radiation, often in excesses of something thousand GJ, in distinct patterns. When separated, these patterns appear random, however certain characteristics become evident when the instances are brought together, and as such, each instance contains roughly blank something something from any other instance. Additionally, Item 1 are noticeably radioluminescent. Video observation of one instance is impossible when instances are active, as video recording experience a decay of footage when instances are on screen. They are capable, when within a range of no greater than 20 meters from any other instance, of long-distance termination of objects, places, or individuals. Additional information regarding this property is detailed later in the file. By order of the Overseer Council, Item 001 has been classified as a thaumial entity. Warning! Additional information regarding this item is locked and currently subject to Level 5 classification. Memetic kill agents are in place to prevent dissemination of information regarding Item 1. Non-Overseer individuals without Class 5 memetic resistance conditioning are susceptible to termination as a result of the kill agents. You have been warned, and this will be your last warning. Alrighty then, let's do it. Memetic kill agent neutralized. Okay. I thought I was going to have to contend with more pictures that just make you do the gone. But nope, we neutralized them. Project Proposal Twins of God. Research Team Omega 5. Project Date February the 13th, 1922. That was almost, we're just shy of 100 years ago. Give or take. To create an anomalous entity, bound by the necessary forces to the command of the Foundation's Central Command Administrator, capable of destroying long-range hostile anomalous threats to the Foundation and global security. Research Team Lead Dr. Blankety Blank, PhD 051. Assistance Leads 052 and 3. Requested resources. Access and use of Item Blank, Subatomic Pumping System. Access and use of Harkin's Gateway, and multiple injections. Materials necessary to construct a necessary containment and testing facility. No fewer than 50 adult humans, D-Class, disposable dudes, for testing purposes. Using information gained from recent testing of Item Blank and Blank, an opportunity has arisen previously unavailable to the Foundation. The ability to, over large distances, alter the quantum makeup of objects in such a way that render the target functionally non-existent. What's that footnote? Oh, it's just the person who said it, okay. To this end, it is now considered possible with the use of Item Blank to transfer these properties to a human subject, which should allow for greater control of the effect. That sounds dumb. To meet the desired goal of this project, Item Blank, Blank, and Blank have been removed from Foundation records, and their containment will take place solely at the primary testing facility. That sounds so dumb! Why would you do that? Y'all are humans, and look what you did with your power! Why did you think this was a good idea? Y'all stupid. Under guise of a military waste disposal site for the United States government, a site will be constructed in northern Mexico, away from civilian populations. I almost said civilization. Same thing. In order to safely test these theories. Given the potentially volatile nature of the project, no! Utmost care will be implemented to provide a number of failsafes in the event of a catastrophic breach of containment. These failsafes are listed below. Given the success of the project, the control over the entity, tentatively designated Item 1, is to be handed off to the Administrator of the Foundation. For use against the hostile anomalous organization classified as GOI-3, Kingdom of Abaddon. A number of mind kill agents will be placed with it in the item, and access to these agents will be given to the Administrator alone to act as a failsafe in order to keep the item out of the hands of opposition forces. Failsafe containment procedures. Alpha. In the event of a catastrophic breach of containment, mind kill agents placed within Item 1 are to be activated, terminating the entity. Each of these agents has been given a different priority level and should be used in order. They are as follows. Berkeley Agent, reduction of motor functions. Anastasia Agent, reduction of anomalous capabilities, development ongoing. Nesbit Agent, reduction of mental faculties. Orion Agent, full chemical dissolution of upper nervous system. So, the first thing is they can't move. The second thing is turning off their ability to erase things quantumly, which you haven't finished yet. The third thing is reduction of mental faculties, and the fourth thing is to just dissolve their brain. How are they supposed to be done in order if number 2 isn't done yet? How do you mess up that bad? Beta, in the event of a failure of Procedure Alpha, which, how could Procedure Alpha possibly fail? It's not like number 2 doesn't work or anything. Security personnel are to engage and terminate Item 1. Capture is unlikely and unadvised. Personnel are advised to maintain a safe working distance from Item 1 and wear the necessary Foundation-approved anti-rad protection gear. I don't think anti-rad protection is going to save you from getting quantumly erased. Long-range ballistic fire is also advised, as to not immediately attract the attention of Item 1. Delta, in the event that fails, Foundation-controlled long-range ballistic weapons are to be activated and used directly on Item 1. A perimeter will be established roughly 10 kilometers from the research facility, and no fewer than 10 heavy shell bombardment cannons are to be placed along the perimeter and utilized during the Delta procedure. Epsilon, in the event that somehow does not work, an on-site explosive device is to be activated. The Foundation Administrator will oversee the follow-up of Procedure Epsilon. Project Approval Administrator, was that Fritz Williams? Yeah, okay, Frederick Williams. 051. I feel like if they even have Delta and Epsilon as options of things they might have to do, and in accordance with what it is they're trying to make, they should probably just go straight to Delta. Because, like, if there's a catastrophic containment breach, like, if I'm understanding this right, this sounds like it's the people breaking containment and not the items that made the people. If the people are breaking containment, never mind trying to make their brains stop working, just nuke them, some bitches. That's what I'm saying. Kaboom! They're gone. No more quantum erasing from a pile of stain ash. So, Project Twins of God's progress report. Initial containment of the new Item 1 entity became immediately problematic, as expunged from record, and acute radiation sickness across roughly 35% of active staff personnel, resulting in blank casualties. Okay. Adjustment of containment procedures became necessary, and the internal structure of the containment site, now designated Site 1, was reinforced. Personnel chambers were moved back to an off-site location roughly 5 kilometers from the central testing facility. So they were just blasting people with gamma radiation, and they thought it was fine to just have the scientists be there for that? I mean, okay, it's 1924, the Incredible Hulk wasn't a thing yet. Fair, I guess. An attack on a Foundation research facility in the Sudan by Kingdom of Abaddon forces increased the drastic need for a long-range defense system, and expedited the timeline for an active Item 1. Why don't y'all just use Delta and Epsilon as your long-range defense system? Why does it have to be... By order of the Foundation Administrator, additional resources were granted to aid in the development of more effective testing protocols. I don't know why I keep yawning. I got enough sleep, I'm sorry. Another primary concern became the containment of the anomaly within a single human subject. In 100% of all tests, while the anomalous nature would transfer with little incident, subjects would become immediately paralyzed and suffer from severe cerebral hemorrhaging. The only evidence of the anomaly taking effect was the sudden and random destruction of on-site structures and personnel, theorized to be the result of a loss of control due to deteriorated mental capacities in the subjects. In 100% of all cases, mind-kill agents were utilized to terminate the pre-Item 1 entity. Additional research conducted by off-site personnel gave light to the possibility of spreading the anomaly over a number of subjects, which was low people, thus managing the increased mental load of the anomalous properties, which were those people. After a testing run that left Site 1 at reduced capacity to operate, and with the allowance of D-Class personnel transferred off-site to other projects by order of Foundation Administrator, alternate options for the continuation of the project had to be discussed. After consulting with the Site 17 director, a group of armed agents infiltrated the San Marcos de la Vida Eterna Church in San Marco and collected a number of young human beings for use in the testing. Class A amnestics were applied to the entirety of the remaining San Marco population, who were then transferred to Site 9 for processing. The town of San Marco then became the new testing Site 1, and 23 of the healthiest subjects were chosen for research, while the rest were subject to termination. Okay. So that's saying 23 of the healthiest people from the whole town? Or from the children they stole? Current status. The project is prepared to move on to the next phase of testing on the new 001 testing subject, and is awaiting orders from Central Command. The following letter has been sent ahead of this project update and reads as follows. To Foundation Administrator from Omega 5 Team Lead. Administrator Williams, due to cuts and withdrawals ordered from your office, it has become increasingly difficult to maintain the level of progress expected from this project as per your orders. With no communication from Central Command, we assume that our directive has not been altered. A proposal to aid in our project reaching its conclusion will follow shortly. We ask that you please note the changes and reply in kind. Your timely response is appreciated. Project Lead. Omega 5 Team Lead? Oh, 2. Your orders have not changed. We are in no less danger now than we were at the inception of your project. Unfortunately, we must also face the harsh reality that we are at war, and our resources are stretched thin. We are having a difficult enough time as is maintaining the secrecy that our cause requires, let alone continuing to do research. I'll afford you to the benefits that I can, if for no other reason than your project may be all that can protect us from Abaddon now. I have seen your proposal, and while I am obliged ethically to deny the request, I am additionally obliged as the leader of this foundation to approve it. You may take your pick of the citizens, but only adults, and do not tread heavily through the lives of these innocents. God knows enough blood has been shed on our behalf. I do not wish to spill more. Okay, so it looks like the administrator didn't want to use children. The Omega, the O5s are just bad people. Let's see how this goes. Group of Interest File 3, Kingdom of Abaddon. They're very, very threatening. They're a collection of hostile anomalous humanoids currently located somewhere in the Sahara Desert, at a location referred to in their manuscripts as the Citadel of our God King Abaddon. Yeah, I'm really not sure why I keep yawning like this. These humanoids appear similar to human beings in a number of ways, but all instances appear to be at least Class 1 reality-bending entities, with higher-ranking individuals ranking Class 3 or 4. Okay. Due to their anomalous qualities, capture and containment of these instances is impossible, and attempting to do so is often exceedingly dangerous. Initial discovery. 3 was initially observed by French military personnel in 1912 during an investigation of attacks against a small village in northern Libya. The military convoy was ambushed, resulting in the deaths of 80% of the contingent. Survivors reported an attack by no more than 6 sorcerers who were capable of flight and resistance to arms fire. These survivors and the superiors who witnessed their account were amnesticized and released. Foundation personnel first encountered them during an attempted raid on a Broken God warehouse in southern Egypt, when MTF Alpha 4 No Borders was attacked by a group of anomalous individuals matching the description given by the French military members. Alpha 4 was successful in repelling these forces and managed to capture a lower-ranking individual. After processing and interrogation, the true nature of the Kingdom of Abaddon was realized, and Foundation Central Command began taking steps to protect the Foundation from the anomalous group. According to gathered data, the Kingdom of Abaddon was originally a group of reality-bending entities from Arabia who sought to carve out a nation of their own within the inhospitable Sahara. Because of their nature, they were able to adapt the harsh landscape to their needs and use the terrain to keep intruders away. Over time, their numbers grew, and their new births were brought before the ruler of the kingdom, God King Abaddon, to be changed into additional reality-bending entities. However, due to inbreeding and other genetic malfunctions that plague their society, 3 is particularly fragile and will likely not last on its own as an independent organization for any longer than 20 years. Collected data implies that Abaddon is aware of this and is taking steps to assure its future. To this end, a number of Foundation facilities in and around the African continent have come under attack by Kingdom of Abaddon aggressors who have cost the Foundation no fewer than 75 lives thus far and who have stolen at least 12 different items. Conclusion. Because of the danger and difficulty involved when confronting Kingdom of Abaddon aggressors, and because of the lack of information regarding their activities, it is advised that no personnel attempt to engage any group without backup from a heavily armed military contingent. Research into developing methods to combat Abaddon forces is ongoing. Okay. Memorandum 1. User 051, Subject 1. We did it then. We managed the impossible. We spat in the face of God and took his throne for our own. It is a glorious new day. I was right about spreading the anomaly around the group. Even with all the reinforcements we had made to the previous test subjects, the amount of energy that Blank managed to pump into their bodies was too much. Can't tell you how many D-class we had to clean up off the floor after watching their skin melt off their bones and their bones carbonize and blow away like dust. Dozens? Hundreds? I don't know. More than we were expecting and more than the Foundation was willing to allow, even for a project like this. 13 has expressed regret over what we did in San Marco, but 13 is short-sighted, and the Administrator is short-sighted. The death of a few, even the deaths of many, in order to protect the world from annihilation is nothing, and less. Those children are gods now, their lives committed to a higher purpose. What life is better than that of the omnipotent? Testing begins tomorrow. Can you hear it? Okay, so it's not that 05 are terrible, it's that 051 is terrible. Specifically 051. Do you hear the screaming of the eyes of the unforgiving God? Project Twins of God Progress Report. Research Team Omega 5. The 9 entities collectively known as Item 1 are currently contained within the fortified bunker at Testing Site 1 while undergoing testing. The entities, while functional in their purpose, display no higher brain activity. Despite this, the group is collectively capable of processing information and following orders given to individuals allowed within the mimetic control cycle that all instances routinely undergo. All instances are currently a Class V, close to be 5, radioactive hazard, and personnel are restricted from coming within 1 kilometer of them without proper anti-rad protection equipment. The gamma radiation emitted by Item 1 appears to come randomly between individuals, but when brought together, resembles patterns made by conscious human beings on an EEG machines. Despite the resemblance, these patterns are more sporadic and inconsistent than what is usually observed in such situations. Item 1 are able to collectively channel enormous amounts of energy from a currently unknown extra-dimensional source, and use this energy to unbind atoms at a quantum level. This allows for the nearly imperceptible annihilation of any object at any distance so long as the object and location is described in some detail to 1. Below are items are the test results. Okay. Establish an outer limit for the area of effect. Round 1. Steel rod plays 5 kilometers. They instructed to destroy it. The object was vaporized shortly after they received the orders to do so. No quantifiable amount of the target remained post-test. Round 5. 800 kilometers. It was vaporized shortly after. Distance appears to not be a factor. Longer range has planned in next series. The children are operating as designed. I have little doubt that they will serve their purpose when the time comes. They are unwavering, unfeeling, seemingly indestructible, and need only a word before sending flying death across the universe. Surely this is a weapon built for only the boldest of men. Do they vaporize you? I hope they vaporize you. You deserve it. Test Series 25. Establish maximum and minimum size of effect over distance. Round 2. Target object steel sphere, 3 meters in diameter, placed 1,000 kilometers from Item 1. They were told to destroy, it was vaporized. Target. Church of the Broken God worships Item Blank. Blank Turkey, 11,500 kilometers from Item 1. They were instructed to destroy it. Target vaporizes. No additional damage noted to the surrounding area. Witnesses to the event were administered Class A amnestic and held for additional testing. Test demonstrates that individuals or groups of individuals must be targeted, as targeting a location is not enough to result in their annihilation. Round 7. Target object, male human, age 33, located roughly 11,500 kilometers from Item 1. They vaporized. Collected Foundation correspondence and notices. Omega 5's team lead, from Administrator Williams. I've heard the good news of your success with Project 1 and cannot express how important this is. We will finally be able to put an end to Abaddon and be able to better protect ourselves in the future. To this end, I am eternally grateful. However, I must admit my concerns about you specifically, 051. Your recent letters have been troubling in spite of your successes. I have no doubt that you are the most qualified man to lead the Omega team, but I understand if the stress of the endeavor has taken a toll on you. I know it has with me. Regardless, once this is all over, I'm prepared to promote you to director of the newly constructed Site 19, after you've taken some time to recuperate, of course. We can discuss the details when I see you next month, once we've taken care of Abaddon. I'm fine, Administrator. The project is finished. We'll complete our task when you arrive. General notice, all personnel, redacted by Overseer... let's see. Issued by Foundation Central Command. Date, March 21st, 1926, Foundation Administrator R.D. Williams has been murdered. A general warrant has been released for the capture of his killer and his killer's accomplices, Dr. Blank, 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 and Agent Blank. These individuals are believed to be armed and highly dangerous and may possess a number of dangerous anomalous items. If you have information regarding the location of these individuals, please report directly to your site director. A transitory council of administrators has been created, consisting of senior staff members from the Omega-5 research team by order of the late administrator. This council will oversee Foundation operations until such time as a new governor can be established. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they had the administrator vaporized and put it out on these other people. Let's see. Issued by Foundation Central Command, the dissolution of the investigation teams. The following MTF investigatory teams are currently considered inactive and are to report to Site 17 for debriefing. All the King's Men, Red Right Hand, Harvard Boys, No Borders, Band of Brothers, and Dark Testimony. Okay. Director Harrison, Site 23, Scouting Report. My boys just came back with the reports. I'll send the pictures they took along with his letter, but I still can't believe it. It's all gone. Just desert that goes on for an eternity, like they were never even there. I had them checked and you were right, no bodies. There shouldn't be any, should there? Regardless, I don't know what devil you had to make a deal with, but thank you. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? New audio file. Let's see. Better do this now, I think. Better to get it done while I can still remember it at all. It's been a long time since I read this file. Longer still since that night in 26. It's been too long since people knew the truth of what we did and what happened to Abaddon and One and the Administrator. Hell, if the amnestics have held up, I might be the only one left. I have no intention of taking it to the grave with me. Not this. One was always charismatic, that much is on record. That's why the Williams gave him the lead of Omega-5 over 2, even though 2 had been with the Foundation longer. That's not to say that One wasn't smart, on the contrary. He was one of the more brilliant researchers I've ever worked with, even after all this time. He penned most of the reports for the work that Omega-5 did, even before we were a full-fledged team. Back then, we were just a handful of junior researchers out on Site 17. He was eloquent and passionate and driven. He was also always so detached. He loved his work, don't get me wrong, and the research was his greatest desire. But the director of the Foundation, the stress on containment, he had no love for. He said to me many times that we were underutilizing our assets, that we could provide better containment of anomalies if we weren't so damn afraid of them. Afraid to use some to contain others. He was the original designer of the Thaumiel classification, of course. Him and the Epsilon 2 research team. I think that was why he was so eager to jump at the chance to do what we were doing with One. It was unprecedented, the One project, but then so was Abaddon. The logs here don't give the half of it, and the rest of it has been lost to history. With Abaddon, we were wildly, hilariously outmatched. A group of decently funded scientists and armed guards against a small army of type greens, and we didn't even see the worst of them. Class 2s and 3s are more than a match for the best we had to offer, and this was nearly a half-century before we'd seen the first Scranton anchor. Some reports claimed that the ruler was a Class 5. If true, then he could have blinked us off the map if he wanted. Abaddon was responsible for the complete destruction of 3 sites in 1922 alone. It wasn't just in sub-Saharan Africa either, although we certainly didn't publicize that. There was kingdom activity as far north as Gibraltar and as far south as Madagascar. It would enter sites, destroy everything, and leave with just a few objects. Shred the records too, and what were we to do? We'd only just begun classifying reality benders, let alone combating them. Were they to make it one of the larger sites in Europe or the Middle East? It would have been a bloodbath. If you're reading this, then you've read the logs about One. You know what it does, how we built it. The gun to end all guns. A weapon crafted out of human bodies and fire that can annihilate anything, anywhere, at any time. All with just a brief description. One was fascinated by them. Or by them. The children, I can still hear them screaming. Screaming while we put them into the machine and pulled out their souls and replaced it with something else. But it worked, and One was so proud. Then the time came to finish our task. The administrator flew in from 17, one of a handful of times I'd ever seen him in public. As exciting an event as it was, the air was thick with solemnity. We all knew the gravity of our task, understood that we were sentencing hundreds to death. I think that If we thought there was any other option, we might have shied away from the edge, but... While we watched, one approach the glowing children and spoke the activation words. They were glorious in a way. The perfect balance of raw energy and human form. He leaned into them and spoke the name of Abaddon's Citadel, and then they burst with light and it was over. We had no way of knowing whether or not it worked other than what we'd seen in other tests, and yet it felt finished. There was a feeling like a collective breath had been released. Then Williams disappeared, his clothes and protective gear falling to the ground in a heap and his gunfire filled the testing chamber with smoke. We saw one sprinting towards an emergency exit and one glowing again. After this, it was all a rush. A quiet ride back towards our bunker as MTF teams rushed in to contain one. A quick debriefing with other command officials, questioning, searches, it all blends together. One was gone, of course. They didn't find him, and they never did. He was the only one who left. 4 other members of our team alone went with him. Or he wasn't the only one left. A number of other junior staff members, and then about half of the senior staff at Site 15 defected. All disappeared without a trace. Items, too, right out of their cells. They discovered later that it was a long time in the making, and one had helped foster the 001 project just to meet this end. We buried the children deep beneath San Marco, covering them in about 50 meters of concrete. They didn't say a word when we put them into lead bags, not that it would help. They didn't say anything when we separated them, and they didn't say anything when we closed a tomb on top of them. I doubt they'll ever say anything again. I have no doubts that they're still alive, though. The most powerful weapon in the world, armed and loaded without its trigger. One has the trigger and one alone. With any luck, it died with him. In the end, we were left in charge, the 8 of us who remained. We picked 5 more of the brightest we could find, and we pushed on. Abaddon was gone without a trace. There was still so much to do, but we found a way to push forward. We made do, and in the end, we overcame. I still think about the children under San Marco from time to time. About the lengths we went to when we were panicked and afraid. About the things we did, even outside the project. I think about one, too. I wonder if he found what he was looking for. I wonder if he thinks it was worth it. I received a message through the secure system nearly 1 year ago today. I said nothing then, but I'm going to add it to this file now. As for the contents, I'll let others decide. I've said enough. File upload complete, now displaying. 13. When we were young, you asked me if I thought that our dreams would ever be realized. If we would ever be able to keep the world truly safe and hang it up for good. You asked me if I thought we had the means to do so, or if the means existed at all. You asked me what lengths we must we go, what prices we must pay, what allegiances must we forge in order to achieve perfection. I did not know then. I do know now. There will come a day when the secrets that the Foundation has tried to hide away will rise up from the shifting sands in glorious appearance, when the subjugated will break free from the bonds of their captors, and when the march of progress will no longer be impeded by those who would huddle around their fires, swatting at the ever-growing shadows. On that day, the Foundation will be cast aside and all that will remain is purpose. Do you hear the Black Moon howling, 13? You will soon. Vive l'insurrection. Thank you, this data file is now unlocked. You are now logged out. Well then, so that's the first part of Ouroboros. The next part is the Broken God, and there's Atonement, and then the way it ends. I'm gonna probably... It's probably going to be multiple episodes for each part of this. So, that's going to do it for this episode of SCP Sidestep. And the next episode, we're going to check out Part 2, The Broken God. I wonder if it's going to be connected to the children at all, or if it's going to be something else. Like, or is it going to be like, hey, so you know how there was that one thing about the Broken God? Guess whose fault that actually was? I don't know, but DJ Cactus, you are a madman. A madman! I thought the story was going to be about DJ Cactus, but it was just read by him. Anyway, this has been Nachi Sasuke. If you liked the video, a like and subscribe will be groovy. If you'd like to click the bell, you can do that as well. If you didn't, you don't have to do any of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.